Hello there. My name is Mike Morehouse. I'm the founder of a company called virttutor.com, and I live in Franklin, Tennessee. I'm 46 years old. We all remember the original Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones, how for a couple decades he pursued this nearly impossible dream of finding the Holy Grail, and he would put together all these clues, and how interesting that journey was. Well, for 13 years now, more or less, I have been pursuing a similar dream, goal, to find the Holy Grail, if you would, of accelerated language learning. It began 25 years ago. I taught myself Japanese for business. It was extremely tedious, as you could imagine. I would learn words and then forget them and then relearn and re-forget, and it was just nearly impossible. But 10 years later, I stumbled across the first key, the first clue on this map, so to speak, for accelerated language learning, and that was using a memory technique, using pictorial association to help you remember the sound of a foreign word. But you learned it in about 10 seconds, and if you did it properly, you could not forget the word for all practical purposes. So let me give you two examples. I could give you 100 right now, but I'm going to teach you two words in two different languages that you will never, ever forget. Okay? Number one, the Russian word for juice, like a glass of orange juice, is sok. Okay? Juice, sok. To burn that into your brain, I want you to picture, actually I want you to watch, imagine in the morning, every morning, you drink your juice out of a sock. Okay? Juice, sok. Just try and forget that. You won't be able to. The French word for hedgehog, I did happen to have this around. The French word for hedgehog is hérisson. Hedgehog, hérisson. So to remember that forever, imagine that your hairy son, trying to do it, looks like a hedgehog. Okay? You get the point. It seems so childish, so rudimentary, but it works. And when I stumbled across this method, my jaw dropped, and I knew that I could save years in learning a language, primarily because of how much effort I would save in learning and forgetting vocabulary words. So, long story short, I co-founded a company in 2001 based exactly on this idea. Technically, scientifically, the learning method is called the keyword mnemonic method, and you can see in 2001 right here, Newsweek ran an article on us. You can see there, language is a fishy way to learn. There's a picture of someone smacking a fish, because in Arabic the word for fish is samaka. So to burn that into your brain, imagine you smack a fish. Okay? So it works. And we were doing $1 million in revenue in about 4 years. But there was still a piece missing, for me anyway. I had learned Italian with this method, not in 3 years, but in 3 months, because of this accelerated vocabulary learning primarily. And then German. But the problem was I could produce the language, but when someone spoke it back to me, I had real trouble. I had to slow them way down because my comprehension and my listening was not nearly where my language speaking ability was. So something was missing. And it wasn't until January 27th of 2007 that I saw the pieces laid out. I saw the entire map, if you would, for the Holy Grail of accelerated language learning. It changed my life. It's led to this prototype and where we are today. That was a Friday night. I was watching an exciting episode of 60 Minutes, and they were featuring a young man named Daniel Tammet. It was called the Brain Man episode. He is a highly functioning autistic savant with a perfect memory. And I mean perfect. He once recited the mathematical concept of pi, 3.14, etc., to 22,000 digits. Okay, that's how good his memory is. But they put this memory man to the ultimate test, and they flew him to Iceland and challenged him to learn to speak Icelandic in 1 week and go on national television and have a live interview in Icelandic. They gave him, however, a world-class language tutor at his disposal so that he could practice with her. She could correct his pronunciation. She could guide him, answer any of his questions. How do you say so-and-so? Of course. So he had this incredible tutor and this incredible memory, and he was in the city itself so that they could go out into restaurants and they could practice what he's learning. In fact, you see on the video him practicing at a restaurant, ordering with a waiter, and those were the pieces. A greatly enhanced memory, first of all, having a world-class tutor or the nearest comparable program that you can ask, how do you say something, that you can speak to and they can correct your pronunciation. A tutor or a program that you can type to and it can correct your grammar. A program that can take you virtually into Rome, into Tokyo, into Paris, and right into those restaurants virtually where you can practice with the world's most intelligent and interactive virtual characters that I have developed over the last 7 years. And you can practice using those vocabulary words that you learn so effortlessly and putting them into practice so that you can actually learn to speak the language. So that's what I have done. The prototype works. Now let me show you a few pieces of the prototype.
So the virtual language tutor prototype starts with its 6 core learning modules, as you can see. The speaking module, vocabulary, listening, translation and pronunciation, situations, and finally the grammar module. Each of these, however, as you will see, contains features and functionality beyond anything else available in today's vast language learning landscape.
Pour aller à la gare, s'il vous plaît.
Alors, continuez jusqu'au feu et tournez à gauche.
afternoon for the first time.
All right, so we're in accurate mode. The correct answer would be konnichiwa, so we'll say it correctly. Konnichiwa.
こんにちは。
Well done!
And just how accurate, just how sensitive is the voice recognition built into the background of this program? Let me show you. So again, I will mispronounce it. Instead of konnichiwa, I'll say konnichiwa. Watch what happens here on the second mistake. Konnichiwa.
Careful, the first syllable is cone, like an ice cream cone. Yours sounds a bit like con, as in con man. Please
Now, let's practice using what we have learned in this interactive situation module. Here, you are able to navigate in and around a virtual French house, filled with intelligent and interactive French-speaking characters. Let's start here by introducing yourself to Pierre. I would like you to type the French for either hello or hi in the input box there, but using informal French, okay? Then, click the Say button. The French for the couch is le canapé. The French for the couch is le canapé. And canapé sounds a lot like the English word canopy. So, to burn this into your brain, I want you to picture a big couch sitting on top of the high canopy in the jungle. The French for the wall is le mur. The French for the wall is le mur. And mur sounds a lot like the first part of the English word mural. So, to burn this sound into your brain, picture every wall has a beautiful mural painted on it.
So there you go. You've just seen a brief snapshot of some of the modules. By the way, below me are videos where I walk you through each of the modules as well as the background of the project, the development of the technology over the last 7 years, etc. But here are the questions. Now that you have seen what's possible today through this technology, can you be satisfied with the current state of the art? I mean, could you possibly be satisfied tediously learning vocabulary where ultimately you're relying on rote repetition and you learn and forget and learn and forget versus learning with association where we burn those into your mind so effortlessly? Can you be satisfied with the old way? Can you be satisfied with today's voice recognition where you speak to the state-of-the-art language learning software through your microphone and you get back as feedback some sort of chart or sound graph that you're supposed to analyze and compare, and that's supposed to improve your pronunciation? Come on.